this, but we did hear the glass shattering. Our Fox 8 cameras caught it. It's a very rapidly changing scene. We just saw a bunch of riot police walk by us. And Ryan, if you want to zoom in here and we can kind of walk around and see what we're looking at. Lots of police cars coming up, lots of flashing lights and sirens. Greensboro police have confirmed to us that they are using tear gas.
There was supposed to be a baseball tournament here this weekend. That has been canceled, and Springwood Park wasn't the only place to have a lot of damage because of this storm. The walls of her home were shaking. She could feel the wind coming through the windows and doors of her home, and when she stepped outside, there was a car that had been pushed by the wind into this truck here. And if we walk around to the other side, there was an iron fence around this pool. It's the community pool. Over the next few days, you might see T-shirts like this being handed out downtown that say "Unite Against Racism" and "Stop the Silence." Right behind this line of trees is where the display will go off at 9:30 tonight. Right where I'm standing in front of the baseball field is the best spot in the house to watch the show. Well, the COVID-19 vaccine is the first of its kind, and unlike the yearly flu shot, the key to this vaccine starts with an image that a lot of us have probably seen before. He's awake, he's alert, but he does have serious injuries. I'm told the suspect on the motorcycle was coming northbound down 85 and struck the officer who was standing right around here, right around the stop sign, trying to slow him down. Parents have told me their kids have been asking them so many questions that they just can't answer right now. Not only does it disrupt operations, but it puts pilots and passengers in danger. And still see crews working. They've slowed it down in the last hour, but there's still water pouring out here. I mean, it sounded like an ocean. It's happened enough times that they've actually put up signs here warning people that they're being recorded and that if they abandon animals, that's against the law. There's so many trees that have just split, cracked, broken, slid right out of the ground. The ground here is absolutely saturated. I was telling my photographer as we were walking along here, it feels like I'm walking on a foam mattress. It's just so soft. Board members had a ton of questions about what the year would look like, and at times were demanding answers. I don't need to be wearing a mask right now. I'm in an open field. There is nobody around, but the dust is that thick in the air and it really sticks in your throat. So that's why I have a mask on, or else I'd be coughing up a storm, because I've been out filming for a couple hours today and you really breathe that in. I was covered in dust earlier.
I've made a promise to my wife and my kids, that I'm coming home. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. There's no if Joey's coming home. Joey's coming home. And I will fight for my life, not for me, but for them.
These are the moments after 28-year-old Ryan Baselli hit Sergeant Joey Driggers along Business 85 and Kenoi Road in Davidson County.
And I knew when I got hit, and I hit the ground, I knew that I've been hurt several times in my career, and but I knew this was different.
The driver who Rowan County deputies were chasing hit Sergeant Driggers at 45 miles per hour.
Everything's pretty much bruised. Even the palms of my hands are bruised.
Thursday afternoon, the Thomasville police sergeant sat next to his wife and read us the messages his daughters wrote on his cast.
Love you, Daddy. I love you most from her, and I love you from Zoe. And
his bones broken and shattered, joints dislocated, his lung punctured. You can see the pins sticking out of his left leg.
Very sore, a lot of pain.
Everything injured but his head.
I remember pretty much all of it.
Something Sergeant Driggers and his wife say was an act of God.
I've been doing this 20 years and seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of accidents. Nobody takes a hit like that without a head injury. I'd only have a scratch on my head. And this is not something that you see people walk away from.
His head had to hit somewhere. There's no explanation. If you're in the air 15 feet, your head has to land at some point. And I said, God just stuck his hand right there and caught his head.
The officer will be off his feet for months, undergoing surgeries and physical therapy. Through his pain and suffering, he's finding forgiveness.
I do forgive him. We've all made mistakes that have affected other people's lives, and he made a mistake that affected mine.
And giving thanks to the people who have supported the ones he cares about the most, his family. Sergeant Driggers' wife says the community kindness has helped her through this tough time.
It means everything to us from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate everything.
Love, smiles, and a whole lot of laughter.
We're over the moon that his beaming smile was selected.
For almost 4 years, Chelsea and Josh Kearns' son Miles has kept them and big brother Aiden on their toes and laughing constantly.
Whenever I pretend like I run into the wall and I fall down, he starts to laugh.
He's as adventurous and spontaneous and curious and as loving as they come.
Love him a lot. Sometimes whenever I'm scared at night, he comes into my bed sometimes.
He does, doesn't he?
Miles and his half-brother Aiden were in the foster care system in Forsyth County before being matched with Chelsea and Josh, and eventually adopted by the pair.
We had no idea just how much need there was for foster care in our community, just here locally.
Who were ready to take on the brothers and Miles' disability.
Like a village, we've raised a healthy, happy little boy.
Everybody thinks they're slower, but that is one smart little boy right there. Oh, yes. And he will outwit you in a heartbeat.
Miles is a typical 4-year-old. He loves his toys, the color blue, and dancing to music.
We have a lot to learn from Down syndrome and Miles.
Chelsea and Josh take pride in educating others about Down syndrome and their son. They're members of the National Down Syndrome Society. The organization is putting together the video that will feature Miles in Times Square this fall.
We're super excited to share his smile and just a little bit of capture of his happiness with so many other people. He brings out the best in everybody that he's around, for sure.
In Winston-Salem, Michelle Wolf, Fox 8 News.
Is that Maya's?
President Biden is expected to announce a complete withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. Ray Bogan has more on the president's plans and why critics warn the move could be dangerous. And as more people are vaccinated, more students will return to their classrooms full-time this week. It's been more than a year since middle and high schoolers in Guilford County attended in-person classes 5 days a week. The United States hitting a major milestone in the COVID-19 pandemic. The CDC says more than half of all adults in our country are at least partially vaccinated against COVID-19. That's almost 130 million people. We've told you so many stories about people being impacted financially by the pandemic, with many people even losing their jobs. Investigators in California say they've arrested the man responsible for the murder of a college student nearly 25 years after she went missing. Kristen Smart was last seen in 1996. Starting today, anyone 16 years and older can make a vaccine appointment. Jonathan Seri explains as the country reaches another major milestone over the weekend. And if you're an Android user, this one's for you. And it's getting a ton of attention. Are baby gators dangerous, though? They're so cute.
I think as long as that little mouth opens and closes, it's dangerous.
Michelle, they've still got teeth.
Yeah. I don't think quite the danger level of a big one, but we're going to let Kate find out first.
Yeah, right? Let me in there.
Yeah. Gosh.
As long as you have a Swiffer mop, you're good.
As long
right?
as you got